Hello, Evelings, and welcome to another episode of Aries Gaming. This one's called Five Things I'd Wish I'd Known. Oh my god, easy for you to say. 5 things I wish I'd known earlier. Now, none of these are completely insane tips that's going to revolutionize the way you play EVE Online, but they're just interesting / useful tidbits that I thought might help some of you out. Because, there's a lot to learn in EVE, and sometimes these little tiny things slip through the cracks. Now, sometimes the first thing we're going to talk about is session change. Session change. It's really hard for me to say that. I don't know if you can say it better, but session change. It's like a tongue twister for me. But anyway, sometimes you're trying to switch between ships and it's yelling at you about wait for the session change timer. Or sometimes you are trying to get, I think it happens when you go into abyssals as well. Sometimes it tells you there's a session change and you need to wait for that to happen. And so how do you know how long that is? It seems kind of arbitrary, right? But I'm going to show you exactly how you find out. And it is the stupidest thing. Now I want you to look up here, right next to all this junk up here in the upper left. I'm going to switch ships. And you're going to see a little tiny wheel up here. Ready? There it is right there. That's it. That's the session changing. Look, this tiny little thing. You may have never noticed it because it's so small and insignificant. Once that's gone, then the session change is over for whatever that applies to. So, now I can switch back to my other ship and all that. Oh, the session change is going again, right? So that's one thing that I think is really interesting to know. Just that tiny tidbit of information. I believe is it 8 seconds, 10 seconds? It doesn't matter. I just watch the wheel and then I know the session change is over. Let's see what it says. It looks like it's about 8 seconds, right? So, there's that. There's the session change. That's tip number 1, okay? If you're getting hung up on you don't know when exactly you can click right into the next thing, the session change, if it's getting in your way, there's the timer for it right up there in the convenient upper tiny left corner, about as small as anything in the game. All right, so we're going to head out into space for the next one. I got to find a rat. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is precycling modules and also preheating modules. Now, this is something that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. But when I first started, and even up to this day, I sometimes forget I can do it. Let's warp to the only asteroid belt here and see if there's anybody there to kill. First, we're going to talk about preheating. You can hold shift and left click on a module, and it will be ready to overheat. So you don't have to turn it on first in order to have it be overheating. You can get it ready to overheat. Now, I don't know if I really want to overheat my armor rep, but if you hold shift and left click it again, that'll turn off, right? So you can preheat your modules to 450 so you can put the frozen pizza in. But what you can also do is pre-cycle your things. Oh, there's nobody here. Well, we're going to have to warp somewhere else, maybe to the ice belt. Actually, there's usually dudes hanging out in the Arcanor and Bistot sites, but got to keep our eye on local because we are in nullsec. So what you can do is you can click a module, right? Now this web is flashing. Just left click. This is like I've turned it on. I could also just do it with like F3 or whatever. And what this will do is it's ready to turn on the instant I have a target locked and in range. And in range is the important part. Let's see who's here. Wow, lots of guys. I hope I don't die here. So let's see if I don't know if I can get anybody safely in range here. Let's see if somebody wanders over to me. This looks very dangerous. I'm sorting by... Oh, I'm on a ratting tab, that's why. That's not good. Oh my god. Okay, so what we can do... Oh, we're actually going to just warp out because we don't want to die. Still trying to find a friend to explode. See if somebody else... Yeah, okay, so here we go. So we're actually going to... we're going to approach this guy with our MWD on. Nope, we don't want to lock him up, actually. Quite yet. Okay, we're going to, orbit 500 on this guy. And we're going to turn our web on with F3, but we're not going to lock this guy up quite yet. This web is going to go as soon as this target's locked and in range of the web. So we should be okay now. This is kind of a weird way to do it. But this way, the second he's locked up, boom, the web is on. And there's no timing issues with that. You just, you can just do it. You can just have it going. Before he's even locked, you can have that web flashing and ready to go. And so It doesn't just work with webs, it works with every module. Turn them on before you have something locked, and the second it locks, they will just start firing or doing whatever thing it is that they do, assuming that they're in range to do it. So that's the deal. I kept my MWD on the whole time because that's what kind of a weird boss I am, and I can't focus when I'm talking. So that's how you pre-cycle modules. You can also, like I said, preheat them so that they will turn on overheated, which is really good, and they won't like heat up when they're not on. So you can just actually overheat like everything right off the bat, and then you can just have it going. So don't forget, you can overheat before the module is even turned on. It's especially good for trying to catch in PvP. You can start overheating your scrams and your webs and things like that before you even need them, and that way you don't have to worry about clicking it after the fact. That was some pretty crappy loot. All right, on to the next part. We're going to dock up so that we don't die. So that covers the session change timer wheel, which we're going to see again when we dock up. Precycling modules and preheating modules. And next we're going to talk about the compare tool. And we're going to use my good buddy 400 millimeter plates because he's in my inventory. Okay, so what you can do on any module, they all have this variations tab. And you can just click compare, and it loads up the compare tool with all the variations of that module. I don't know why you would want to compare too many things that aren't the same module. I mean, you could see the difference between the sizes of plates or the sizes of guns and stuff like that. But a lot of times I load this up to look at these things in here. And the other setting you want ticked in here is only show attributes that differ. At least for when you're strictly comparing. If you untick that, just session change timer, see? Oh, isn't that adorable? So if you untick it, then all of the stuff comes up. But you, at least for my purposes, I only ever want to know what's different about the modules. I want to know, okay, what's the power grid usage? And then you can sort by the power grid usage, and you can find like, oh, this one's uses up the most power grid. This one's teeny itty bitty. And then, you can put up the armor hit points sorted by power grid usage, and then you can be like, well, yeah, this one takes a ton, but like, look at it's got the most hit points out of any of them, and all this other stuff. So the compare tool is really useful, especially when you're fitting ships and you're trying to figure out. You can drag stuff into it. Now I have two of the same things. That's crazy. What if I remove these while what if I just have two of the same one? Nothing to compare. Yeah, well, whatever. You win some, you lose some. Okay, so you can, I don't know where the compare tool is on the Neocom. It's probably up here somewhere, I would guess. Actually, let's type it into the pointer window. Neocom panel, utilities, compare tool. Okay. So then you can just drag modules into this from anywhere. You can drag them in. I don't think you can do ships. Let's try. Oh my God, you can. I've never compared ships, actually. What do I want to compare the Proteus to? How about like a thorax, which is kind of like it's kind of like a thorax, kind of. I don't know. Let's do this. Okay. So only show attributes that differ. Well, that's cool too. All right, you can compare ships in here. See, we all learn things. I've never done this. I don't know if this is useful, but it's cool. So you can drag gear and stuff in there. Oh, this is going to be hilarious. Let's see if let's see what it says about this. Oh my God. Let's see. Whoa, this one's 112,000 M cubed, 150,000, and 5. I don't know why you would compare a ship and a module, but you can do it, folks. You can do whatever you want in EVE Online. It's a sandbox. All right, so anyway, that's my third thing is the compare tool. All right, so I'm actually going to add one because this is really useful, this pointer window thing. It's in utilities, pointer window. You can find anything in here if you know the name of it. All right, so like I wanted to find where the compare tool was. I just typed in compare. It's in the Neocom, and it can just point to where it is. Utilities, compare tool, right? But some stuff's a little more buried than that, right? Like, okay, journal, but like, I don't know, fleet stuff, right? Fleet broadcast icons, fleet history, all this stuff you can find where it is by using the pointer window. So, hey, extra bonus. All right, so let's talk about the next thing I'm going to talk about. I have to go find... so I'm going to hop into Honey Nut Helios here. And we're gonna go find a cosmic signature because I need it's both having to do with hacking. There's 2 in BMNV, but that's a little dangerous. Let's go to BY. There's 3 there, and there was only 2 earlier, so hopefully it's something cool. I know there's a high sec wormhole there right now, so that's one of them. So let's try not to die on our way over there, and we'll try to get something and talk about some hacking stuff. So I'll see you when I get there. Okay, so we're going to talk about hacking a little bit. So the first thing I want to talk about is rule of 6, which is covered in some of my other videos, but you know, we're not going to spend a ton of time on that. But the main thing I want to talk about is where these hotkeys are bound. So hey, there's 4 mil in there. Let's grab it. And we'll hope this heron doesn't show up and wreck our fun. Okay, so see these nodes over here? Any node that is surrounded by 6 other nodes, if something bad happens to you on that node, that means that the core is on one of the 6 adjacent nodes. All right? So if something bad happens to us here, 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 or here, the core would have been adjacent. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is this down here. When you pick up one of these items to use, these little slots here are bound to 1, 2, and 3. You can use items really a lot quicker that way if you know that they're bound to 1, 2, and 3 like that. And so you don't have to go down there and click stuff. You can just hack the planet and whatever. So aha, we did it. I think. Yeah, so there's a defensive subnode there. And because there's there and that's surrounded by 6 other nodes, the core will be somewhere on here. Now, I've already uncovered these 2, so it's not there, but it's one of these 4. So let's finish hacking that. There it is, right there. Works every time. All right, so that's the rule of 6. Those are my 5 tips. Session change timer wheel thingy tiny guy in the corner. Precycling modules and preheating modules are both something you'll have to tinker around with a little bit on yourself. But it can really save you some time. The timing of the button presses in this game, sometimes you can think you turned on a mod, but you actually didn't. And so, you know, you just kind of got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But, you know, preheating for sure is very useful. And pushing 1, 2, and 3 for activating your little things down in here saves you a ton of time, and it keeps your mouse on the grid instead of wandering around all over the place. And also the compare tool. Lots of stuff you can do in the compare tool that's really, really useful. You know, you can compare ships to ships, apparently, modules to ships. I don't know why you'd ever do that, but it does look hilarious. And I had a good laugh doing it. Usually I compare modules with other modules to see what kind of stuff fits on my ship and that kind of thing. Thanks so much for watching. I almost have 500 subs. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel very good. If you like this video, please like it. If you subscribe this video, please subscribe it. And I will see you next time on Aries Gaming once I hack this. Oh no, I don't want to hack this. It's worthless. Goodbye.